Hello, I'm Clark Crawford, and welcome to Clark Crawford Sports. Today, I'm going to be giving you my Week 16 NFL preview. So before I do that and get into the video, if you like this video, hit the like button. Feel free to leave your comments, and of course, subscribe to my channel while you're at it. With that being said, let's dive into the Week 16 games. In Week 16, as I'm recording this video on Saturday, I want to make note of the Thursday night game where the Rams beat the Saints 30-22. The Rams improved to 8-7, while the Saints fell to 7-8 on the season. So for the Saturday and Sunday NFL games, I want to highlight the Lions traveling to Minnesota to face the Vikings. Now, for this game, I believe it's a big game for both teams, with Detroit coming into the game at 10-4, while the Vikings support a 500 record at 7-7. Now, the highlight of this game is Minnesota is not mathematically eliminated from the division race, as if Minnesota wins their last three games and Detroit loses out, which would mean they lose their last three games, then Minnesota would win the division, which, if you ask me, it's an unlikely scenario, but it's possible, so it's still noteworthy in my opinion. Now, as for the game tomorrow, which is Sunday, my prediction for the game is Detroit wins this game. Now, I think it'll be a close game, but I think Detroit wins this game. And if Detroit wins this game, they lock up their first ever NFC North division title, which for them, the last time the divisions were realigned was 2002. So it'd be the Lions, not first ever division title, but first ever NFC North title. So with that being said, this matchup, I think, has the makings to be a matchup that comes down to the final few minutes, which could be the last team to score wins. So this is a matchup to watch, in my opinion. Up on the schedule is a battle between the 9-5 Browns and the 8-6 Texans. What needs to be mentioned is C.J. Stroud will miss his second consecutive game with a concussion. He's not shown enough signs of improvement throughout the week. So bad news for Texans fans. C.J. Stroud is going to be out for that game, so you get Case Keenum likely for a second consecutive start. Also to note, Will Anderson, the Texans' number 3 overall pick, is likely to be out as well. So the Texans have injuries, and so do the Browns. Cleveland's had their fair share of injuries. I know they've got several players on IR, with, of course, Deshaun Watson being one of them. They're on their 4th quarterback of the year, so we'll see if the Browns can get it done in Houston this Sunday. I think you got two really well-coached squads with Kevin Stefanski of the Browns and, of course, DeMeco Ryans of the Texans, who could be the coach of the year. Now, I believe this game could be a dogfight and a low-scoring, ugly game at that. Joe Flacco versus Case Keenum. Which QB will come out on top on Sunday? Buccaneers host the Jaguars as the Jaguars come into Sunday's contest with 3 straight losses, while Tampa Bay, on the flip side, has won 3 in a row. So it's a battle of the red-hot Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the ice-cold bunch of losers, Jacksonville Jaguars. Of course, they're not losers, but as of late, they have lost a ton of games. Now, Trevor Lawrence is expected to play after suffering a concussion last week, so that helps if you're a Jaguars fan. But at the same time, maybe Trevor Lawrence could use a week off, because in his last few games, which the Jaguars, as I mentioned, have lost 3 in a row, Trevor Lawrence has not played well. Now, is it all Trevor Lawrence's fault they've lost those 3 games? Absolutely not. But the quarterback is the most important position on the field, and Trevor Lawrence hasn't played well, and most of the Jacksonville team hasn't played well. So when you look at it, the 2 and 2 go together. When Trevor Lawrence has played well this season, his team has stepped up and responded. So the last time the Jaguars got a win, Trevor Lawrence played well against the Texans, resulting in a 24-21 win. So it's the old saying, as the QB goes, the team goes. Trevor Lawrence is the engine of the team. He's got to step up if the Jaguars are going to hold on to their slim division lead. Now, on the Tampa Bay side, Baker Mayfield continues his resurgence of a season as he's played a big part in Tampa Bay leading the NFC South headed into their Week 16 game. The Buccaneers are at home and on a hot streak, and I think the Buccaneers will ride that turning their 3-game win streak into a 4-game win streak, as I have them beating the Jaguars on tomorrow in the afternoon matchup. Records-wise, the second best matchup of the week features the Dallas Cowboys and the Miami Dolphins. Dallas is coming off an embarrassing, and I mean embarrassing, loss to the Buffalo Bills last week. They didn't even score till the final roughly 6 minutes of the game, when they only scored a touchdown in the final 6 minutes of the game when they still had their starters in, which was not a smart move if you ask me, because somebody could have gotten hurt that was an extremely important piece to the Dallas offense. They're lucky they didn't, and CeeDee Lamb got a garbage time rushing touchdown, which was great for my fantasy team, but I'll get into that later on. Also, if you have any fantasy questions, feel free to comment, and I'll help you answer them, as I consider myself a fantasy guru of my own. Now back to the Cowboys and Dolphins game. As I said, the Cowboys got embarrassed last week, and the Cowboys had a golden opportunity to gain ground in the NFC East, as they lost on Sunday, and then their division rivals, Eagles, lost a horrific game to the Seahawks on Monday in the final minutes, as Jalen Hurts is not himself. I don't know if it's just flu-like symptoms. I heard he possibly might have a knee injury. I think there's several things going on, not with just Jalen Hurts, but also the entire Eagles team. I'll get into that later on. So, as I said, the Cowboys had a golden opportunity to gain ground in the NFC East, but they failed to do so. So, as for both teams, it's hard to say, in my opinion, who needs this game more, because breaking it down, the Cowboys have one win against a team with a winning record, which was, of course, the Eagles 2 weeks ago, and the Dolphins have not beaten any teams with a winning record. So, in my opinion, it's a pivotal game for both teams who need a win against a team with the winning record. So, we'll see tomorrow late afternoon who wants to win more and what is anticipated to be a high-scoring game. So, I want to note in this video, a Merry Christmas to everyone, and thank you everyone, and happy holidays to everyone who watches my videos. And if you don't watch my videos, you should start watching, because you're missing out. But in all sincerity, a Merry Christmas and a happy holidays to everyone. As that leads me into, there are 3 games on Christmas, and I'm going to preview 2 of the 3 as my last couple of games to preview for Week 16. The first one is the Giants at the Eagles. For the Giants side of things, can Tommy DeVito continue his magical Cinderella run as starting quarterback? DeVito's been a nice surprise since taking over for several injured Giants quarterbacks, but realistically, New York is a train wreck when you look at things. They went and made the playoffs last year. They were a wild card team, and everything's fallen off a cliff since then. There's a lot of tension going on in New York. I wouldn't want to be a Giants fan right now, but at least they have to mention this season and something to remember. Tommy DeVito's had a little magical run. The question is, can he continue things and upset the Eagles on Monday in the Christmas game? The Eagles, on their side, have lost 3 games in a row. If there's any chance to turn their recent bad stretch around and their stretch of misery, it must be against this bad Giants team. Philadelphia's offense and defense has been the problem. You can't blame everything solely on Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts is a major contributor to their recent string of bad luck and just losing games. It's not all bad luck, but their recent string of poor play. So Philadelphia, you really need this one, and if you win and Dallas slips up against Miami, well, guess what? You take over the division again with 2 games to play, and you play the Giants your final game of the year. So the Eagles would really be set up to win the division. Now, in this game, I believe Philadelphia wins this game, but the question is, are the Eagles going to win another ugly game, which most of their wins have been pretty ugly and low-scoring affairs from what we saw last year from the Eagles, or does the Eagles team that we saw in the second half against the Buffalo Bills in Philadelphia show up? So, which Eagles team shows up? But I believe the Eagles will win this game against the bad Giants football team. As for the last game of the week that I'm going to preview for this week's slate of games is a matchup between 2 11-3 teams in the NFL, where the Baltimore Ravens will go on the road to face off with the San Francisco 49ers. This is a dream Monday Night Football matchup as it's anticipated to be an electric, really good game between the two best teams in the NFL right now. Now, they may not be the best two teams currently or in your opinion, but they're the best two record-wise. Now, this could be a rematch of the Super Bowl from 2012 when the Ravens and 49ers squared off. That's what some people are anticipating. Now, as for this game, I'm not going to preview the Super Bowl yet. That'll come in a future video. But this should be a defensive showdown between two really good defenses. And it could very well, because the offenses are high-powered as well, turn into a shootout. Both offenses have proved they can put up points in a hurry. So I could see it going either way. It's going to be a 10-3 bloodbath in a low-scoring game, or I could very well see it 31-28 with the winner of the game kind of being a coin flip. I think both teams have a great shot to win this game. I think they're pretty evenly matched overall. I would give a slight advantage to the 49ers. So I'm just really hoping whoever wins this game, it lives up to hopefully be the Monday night game of the year, and it lives up to all the hype the game is getting. Lamar Jackson versus Brock Purdy, two MVP candidates. It doesn't get much better than this to close out your Christmas. I know I'll be watching, and I'm hoping it's going to be a great game time Christmas night game. As for that being said, that will wrap up my Week 16 preview. Thank you all for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Give a like if you haven't already. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And I will see all of you in my next video.